when you guys caught me, Brian, I was actually going to film one of my hour-long rambles.
Oh, were you?
Yes.
Okay, what was that ramble about?
Well, I had some things that were nagging at me. Kind of like, like the smallest things in your life turn out to be the things that you dream about. You know, the little things that happen in the day actually become like full-length pictures in your dreams.
Oh, yeah.
They're so inconsequential when you come across them, and then
for some reason, psychologically, they're huge.
They're huge.
Yeah.
So, one of these things happened to me. I was in a blog TV with Together for Peace, right?
Yes.
And I recorded it.
Yeah, and I saw your remix.
You saw a remix of one part of it, but there was another part that I have a recording of where...
Oh, is this the bit where he lost it?
Where I lost it?
No, where Jack lost it.
No, I'm not even talking about the part where Jack lost it, because, yeah, I recorded it, but I figured, he must have been going through something weird that night. That's not normal Jack.
Yeah, that's not Jack. That's not normal Jack at all.
Telling Shara to shut up, and,
Sorry?
Or, telling Shara she needs to shut up. And,
yeah, all of that. That's just not
making
Jack.
fun of the word hyperbolic. I mean...
yeah, that's not Jack.
No, it isn't. But whatever was wrong with him, I'm pretty sure he'll fix it. Maybe he was just sleep deprived. We all have our moments.
Yeah, we do, and Jack's entitled to them just like everybody else.
Yeah. So...
yeah, I'm sure you're absolutely right. He'll fix it, and I'm sure at some point he may even apologise if he thinks he was bang out of order.
Maybe. At one point in the conversation, I was able to call in to Jack, and we had a conversation about why I don't define myself as an anti-theist. I wanted him to know this because he was lumping a whole bunch of people together as anti-theists, as if any atheist who dares open their mouth about their atheism is an anti-theist. Why would you even have the motivation to open your mouth about your atheism unless you were an anti-theist?
Ooh.
It was that line of reasoning. Now,
yeah, that's a biggie, Jack. That's a biggie even for you, Jack.
Well,
big leap.
He was defining anti-theists by their actions, not by what their core belief system was. And I had to call him up and let him know that the reason why I don't consider myself an anti-theist is because I come to atheism from the point of view of skepticism.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just trying to reduce people to as little... the fewest amount of unverifiable beliefs as possible. And I am certainly not going to accept any beliefs from somebody else until they're proven to be credible.
Yeah.
So, when I'm arguing against a claim that is incredible, I could be using this. I could be using the same argument as him. We could both use the same argument against a Hindu, for instance. An anti-theist, an atheist, and Jack, a Christian, could all argue the same way against a Hindu, but that doesn't make us all anti-theists. We each have our own core belief system, and to define us by our actions when it's convenient for the point that he's trying to make, and then define us by basically our core beliefs when it's also convenient for his point, I thought was a bit disingenuous. And when I called in about it, he heard me out, right? But then he brought in Julian, J. Delphiki 42, and Julian wanted to talk to me about empiricism. The way that I am assessing what is credible and what is, not credible. And Julian started in with a line of questioning. He says, well, you're only going to accept empirical evidence to define what's credible, right? And I said, okay. And he says, well, you also don't believe in the God of the gaps, do you? Right?
Yeah.
And I said, yes. He says, well, then nothing we can give you for your measurement of credibility would fit into empirical measures, so you're actually asking for something that's impossible for us to give you.
Okay.
And I had to think about that. It actually gave me pause because no one had actually come at me with that line of reasoning before. But I did ask after a moment, so if I'm using empiricism to judge what's credible and what's not, and you're coming at me with claims that cannot be proven empirically, but you say that there is some truth value to them, then what other means of deciding what is credible do you have that rivals empiricism? What other means of credibility are you using? I'm open to this idea of like some other form of judging what is credible and what is not. I just haven't found anything that works. Other than empiricism for deciding what is credible as being part of our reality. And in reviewing,
there are those that will argue philosophy as
there
being
are
the source of truth.
There are, and I'm getting to that.
Okay.
When I looked at the video footage that I took of that blog TV, and I looked at the line of questioning that Julian set up, I realized he was setting me up to look like I had a dichotomy of, if it's not empirical, it must be false, and if it is empirically verifiable, it's true. Whereas I do believe that there are things that empiricism cannot test. There are things that you cannot measure, and they do not automatically become false. They're just unknown or unknowable or not testable at this moment.
Just simply unverifiable.
So there's actually 3 categories, but the way that he was asking the question created this false dichotomy that did not reflect what I believed. And after thinking about it for 30 seconds, or rather 30 minutes, I made a video and sent it right to him, and it's on my channel, right?
Yeah, I think I watched it.
And then Thunderbolt 94 interjected, and then I responded to Thunderbolt 94. And they're actually attacking using empiricism as a means to judge what is credible and what is not yet credible or what is false.
Okay.
So they're attacking it at its base. They're like, it has assumptions. You can't use empiricism, and therefore every form of belief can also have just as much truth value. Therefore, faith is good, and you should have some faith, and you should believe in our God. That's what the end result of this line of reasoning gets to. That's where it's headed, and I see it from a point of view that I'm seeing the big picture here. And when I looked back at the video footage that I took from that blog TV, there was 2 things that bugged me. And
Right.
just like the little things that become part of your dream late at night, that become big feature-length films in your dream, but they were just the littlest part of the day.
Yeah.
The first part was thinking, you know, the way that Julian used that line of reasoning on me and tried to put me into a position that I actually don't hold by asking those two questions and creating that false dichotomy. I really feel like that sort of disingenuousness is the reason why I have continued to make videos on my channel that could be considered anti-theistic when I am just an atheist. There are driving motivations here, because I get pissed off every time I come across an argument that stumps me for 10 minutes, but then when I realize the fallacy behind it, it pisses me off. Because I realize that somebody just tried to dupe me into believing their unverifiable claims.
Yeah,
and
like using a clever argument.
And what gets me is I've been asked time and time again, even insultingly by T-Master in his unicornism video. I've been asked, why would I spend so much time making videos on YouTube about this issue when I don't believe in Christianity? Why would I make so many videos about not believing in theism? You know? I've had a lot of people just question my motivation. And in that moment where I realized what had happened in that discussion, I also realized this is why. It's because I get so angry when people try to pull the wool over my eyes. You know? And I think it's very justifiable. When you realize that someone's been lying to you, or trying to manipulate you without showing you truth, with trying to categorize things in a way that makes their argument seem more plausible, but, you know, on second thought, you realize, you know, their categorizations are completely wrong. It really does stir up this flame inside of you that's like, this is why.
Irritating.
I've got so many reasons that don't really have to do with me personally, but this reason right here was personal. This is somebody trying to get me to believe something that is wrong. And it happens a lot. And the other part about this conversation I had on Skype, that it was a very small part, but it stuck with me, was that after the call was over, Together for Peace was talking about who was in the call, letting everyone know who was in the call. And then he made the remark, and yeah, Mike, I think we're going to have to get you some philosophy books. And he did this as though I had just lost a debate. Because I don't read philosophy books. Now, for one, I have the entire conversation recorded, you know, and 30 minutes later I made a video explaining where the fallacious line of reasoning was inserted and why I was tripped up by it. And it did take me a moment. And when I coined the term Dark Lord apologist, this is what I'm talking about. People who do not care whether or not they are using arguments that, you know, if you take just 30 minutes to think about it, you realize that it's a completely wrong argument. They don't care. They just want you to believe in their God. You know? And that pisses me off. And when
I look forward to watching that rant when I get up to my mum's.
And
it'll be on the iPhone, so I may not be able to leave a comment. But
are you almost packed?
Yeah, I've got the bag ready. I just need to go and I just need to sling a toothbrush in there and a towel, and then I'm out the door.
Ah.
2 hours late, but there you go.
I'm going to tell you the other thing that's pissing me off about that statement, that I need to get some more philosophy books. As if I hadn't read the right type of book. It is because of my different education that I am not making videos all the time saying, oh, well, he made a straw man. Oh, he did an ad hom attack. You know?
Yeah.
There are a whole bunch of philosophy majors and debate nerds that make videos all the time with the same content.
Yeah.
You know? And me coming from a different field, you know, when I see their arguments, sometimes it's very easy to rip the foundation right out from underneath their argument.
Yeah.
You know? And it's easy because coming from a different perspective, a different field, that is, you know, it's giving me a different point of view. I can see these things right away. You know, when I realize that the whole purpose of religion is pretty much feeding our need for security now and security in the future. The reason why I realize that right away is because of my background in psychology.
But it's even more fundamental than that. It feeds on it feeds on the fear of death.
Yes, and in seeing that Jesus being innocent is part of the sales tactic, you know. That you owe something. Even though you weren't there to sign the contract saying, yes, please give your innocent life for my sins. You weren't there beforehand to make this decision. This decision was made for you.
That argument in itself is fallacious, because you just need to read the scriptures just to see how lacking in innocence Jesus really was.
Yeah. But the ability to see the sales pitch for what it is something that you don't get from being a philosophy major.
No.
Seeing the way that they are manipulating people's feelings is something that I get from my background in psychology. And to insult me by saying that the reason why I am not going down the same path as them and agreeing with them is because I haven't read the same books as them. I'm happy that I'm not reading the same apologetic bullshit that they do, you know?
Yeah.
And it was the smallest part of the conversation, but it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Especially since there's a very large bookshelf beside me while I'm talking. There's a bookshelf behind me while I'm talking. And there's philosophy embedded in a lot of these works. You know, some of them are plainly just philosophy books, but a lot of them have within them philosophical points.
Mm-hmm.
There's a philosophy to a lot of things. And to say that I haven't read enough books. I mean, to complete my other major in English, I had to take so many courses in literature. And all I'm hearing, when it gets to my ear, him saying that I haven't read, that I need to get some philosophy books, is he's saying I need to read the books that will make me agree with him.
Yeah. Well, just as a side point before I dash out the door, I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not. Given your background, you probably are. But there was a time when biology and the natural sciences were actually termed natural philosophy.
Yes.
And it could quite well be that there is a crossover in the understanding of what philosophy actually is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
To him, philosophy is only the things that would make me agree with him.
Sorry, Mike, what did you say?
To him, philosophy would be only the things that make me agree with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a wonderful argument. You need to read the stuff that's going to help you to agree with me.
Is there any information on the internet as far as the wake and the obit?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
Were you very close?
Sorry, I must have misheard what you said. Say it again.
Were you very close?
No. Information on the internet about what?
Oh, about the funeral that you're going to.
Oh, no. It's not actually a funeral. That happened already.
Okay.
That I went up for. It was actually a cremation, and that happened before Christmas. This is literally scattering of ashes and family get-together, people that weren't able to be there for the cremation.
Just a pointer.
Yeah.
Stay upwind.
Stay upwind?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, when the ashes go, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But, yes, I was close. It was my stepfather, so...
Well, be sure to have fun. I'm sure you'd want there to be more fun than tears.
Yeah, well, you know, given Baz's philosophy on life, he would be upset if there were tears rather than laughter. We're all kind of viewing this as his last bash. Mm-hmm. You know, his last party. So there's going to be a barbecue and all sorts of other stuff. And yes, I will take the camera with me. My portable camera, my replacement camera.
Huh.
So yeah, I will try and get some shots of barbecue and things. And I may even have a few words into it while I'm driving up there.
Yeah, and be sure to look out for some road signs for me.
I certainly will, and if I see them, I will stop and snap them for you. But you don't tend to see those sort of road signs on the open highways like you do over there. The most you tend to get is stuff that's actually outside the churches themselves. But if I see any, I'll grab them for you.
Thanks much.
You're welcome. Alrighty, on that note, I'm going to have to shoot off.
Don't forget your toothbrush and towel.
Yeah, I won't.
Alright.
I'll grab those right now.
Alright.
Alright, buddy. I'll see you in a couple of days.
Alright, later.
Alright, bye.
Well, that was about half my ramble. I've got other things on my mind that are kind of just they're a lot bigger than when they happened just a few days ago. But you know, the idea just keeps on snowballing until it's like so freaking huge that I got to get it out in a long ramble video. First off, I am one video away from finishing this book right here. And when I have that video up, I'll probably make a video going, "Hey, I did it." But I don't think that I really understood the sense of accomplishment I would get from finishing something. And I really need to finish a bunch of video projects that I have on my channel so that I can get back to making the fun videos. But a lot of things have been coming together for me, you know, as far as finished projects. I just did the other side of the hallway that I did a few videos ago. And that's coming together. I think I'm going to submit my entire playlist of all the videos that I'm making for this book to the Theist/Atheist challenge from Fruity K. Now, Fruity K made her video on June 7th, and Lasoyo responded to her challenge by picking up The God Delusion. That book right there. I think he had a paperback version. Mine's hardbound. Plus, you couldn't really see the silver in his video because he films in black and white. But her challenge was for Christians and for theists to read The God Delusion, and for atheists to read a religious book. And this is a religious book here, but I started reading it prior to her contest. But I have been reading things after her contest started. So I'm just going to submit the whole book as I did it, and I will probably do it again. Also, I think Violently Graceful should add the book that his dad got him, because he's been reading the same as me. Let's see, what else do I have on my mind? Every so often, I get a PM from somebody who thinks that they are going to have a whack at my atheism. You know, a while back, a user named Ask, Listen, Obey made a channel just for me, and his channel has remained stagnant for the last 2 months or so. But originally I was flattered that someone would make a channel just to make videos to me and try to promote their Christianity. Yeah, that's awesome. But it's just part of a long line of people who initially they're interested, and then you see their interest wane after a while. So, the latest one is a PM that I just got from someone named Coder Girl. Let's see. You can see her right there. That's Coder Girl. And she says, "Hello, first off, I want to say I think you are a very nice person." She doesn't really know me, does she? Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, here's the reason I am sending you this message. I ran across you through the back and forth videos you had from 3 Apostle Mattia Bolton. Yeah, those were anything but nice. I don't get where she's saying that I'm nice. Anyways, you have so many videos, but I'm wondering, is there one where you talk about you? because, you know, me, the person, would have something to do with the argument against my atheism. You know, it's got to be some personal problem that I have, something from my past, some pain that I'm carrying with me, you know. Okay. I have listened to a lot of atheists, and some are very harsh. But you are not, at least from what I've heard so far. I'm sure you have ran across some Christians who are the same way. I have a lot of people telling me that I'm harsh all the time, and not many people telling me that I'm very nice. So this is weird, a little. But I see telling me that I'm nice as kind of like a foot in the door technique, you know. You don't start off a conversation with someone by saying, hey, you're a meanie. You know, they're going to shut down, so. Anyways, I would like very much to know a little more about you. Were you ever a believer? Again, foot in the door technique. You know, if you were once a believer, maybe you can be convinced to believe again. As I begin to watch some of your videos, I may want to comment, but it will help by knowing where you stand. You seem to study and read a lot about Christianity and the Bible, as I guess many atheists do. Fair enough. There is something very different about you, though. I don't believe you are truly an atheist. Agnostic, maybe. But atheist? No way, LOL. Okay. First of all, you can be an atheist and an agnostic. I am an agnostic atheist, and I am selectively gnostic about certain religions, the ones that I have studied, like yours. But, yeah. Moving on. So please tell me more about yourself. If you already have a video to point me to that would be great. Thanks, Bay. Well, Bay, I sent you a video, same video I've sent a lot of people, same video that Together for Peace told me that he doesn't owe me an answer on, and that is, can someone please answer my questions about Christianity? It's not that hard to find, and the video that I've made out of all the 750 that I have uploaded so far, the video where I get the most people actually coming out and saying, hey, can we talk? Can we talk personally? Can we talk off of YouTube? I don't want to make videos because, you know, someone might point out what's wrong in what I'm saying for you. I'd like my turn to try to get you to believe Christianity without other people interfering, you know. To me, when someone asks me if they want to talk to me personally about this stuff anymore, I think about how hard it is for people to disagree with the Bible message or their pastor or their priest while they're in a church environment, you know. Well, up on the podium, a message is being preached out to them, and the fact that they're surrounded by people who pretty much, by the fact that they are in that church, they are telling everyone else that they believe what is being preached in that church. It makes people feel like they can't just stand up and say, excuse me, I disagree with that point, you know. And this was actually in, let's see, this movie right here, Jesus Camp. it was actually pointed out that one of the reasons why they like to get all the kids together to preach to them together is that the kids talk back more when they are alone, and they like to keep them in this state of everyone being reverent at the same time and no one feeling like there is ever a moment where it's appropriate to say, hey, I have a question, you know. Yeah, watch that movie. So the opposite of that is the internet. Now, I've heard that the internet is where religions come to die, but really the internet is where any fallacious thinking at all comes to die, because you have so many eyes scrutinizing the same message that one of them is going to see a fallacy if it's present. And that's why I like making videos out in the open. That's why I like reading these PMs to people, to show that there really is, like, there is this method of trying to talk to me in secret in order to change my beliefs, because they don't want to say it out in the open, you know? They don't want that scrutiny of being out in the open on the internet. So, what else? What else has been bugging me? Okay. 2 days before this video went live, the Stigmadane sent me it in a PM, a link to the unlisted video. It's called Evidence of Nephilim Free Chat with a Christian YouTuber. Right? So I watched his video while it was unlisted. And yeah, it's just about Nephilim free and him hitting on a girl. Now, the funny thing is, I've talked with people about this, most notably Mr. Samuel Spade. He's a YouTuber that doesn't make a lot of videos, but he comments on a lot of mine, and we talk on Skype. And one of the things that is interesting about this is what Neph did is only bad from the Christian perspective, or from the perspective that you're trying to call him a hypocrite. But really, there's nothing wrong with hitting on a girl. You know, there's nothing wrong with hitting on a girl that's younger than you. You know, as long as she's of age. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with hitting on a girl so much that you're not picking up on all of her cues, that she's not very responsive to you hitting on her. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being shot down, you know. You never know until you try. But I guess in Christian circles, the way that he was telling her that he thought she was pretty is somehow wrong. You know? The way that he was forward, you know? You gotta be forward if you're gonna get anywhere these days. You know, and from my perspective as not being a Christian, I don't think that Neph did anything wrong. The only thing that's weird about it is that he is a Christian, and there's plenty of Christians that do things that, you know, aren't necessarily acceptable in strict Christian eyes, you know. But they do them, and they get away with it. And I think it's because beneath being a Christian, some people understand that there are things that they're just natural, you know, and everyone does it, and it's not really something that's really bad. It's only bad because it's it says so in the Bible. Now, I have seen Christians that say things like, well, I don't masturbate, and I haven't masturbated since I became a Christian. I haven't had the need to. You know, the whole need has been removed from me, and one of those people would be Inventor Gorilla. But there's nothing wrong with it. You know, cranking one off, rubbing one out, you know, tug of war with Cyclops, flogging the dolphin. Nothing wrong with it at all. Unless you're doing it more than like 5 times a day and it's really taking over your life. If it brings you pleasure, go ahead. You know. But, you know, if you're a Christian, of course there's verses about not spilling your seed. You know. And that it's better to have sex with a whore than spill your seed on the ground. Which is weird because you're not really supposed to have sex with a whore in Christianity either. You know, but there's, I guess, degrees of how wrong things are. Even though some Christians would say that all sins are equal. Christians like Losoyo, in a video he made recently. So, yeah, there was nothing wrong with what Nephilim Free did. I watched the entire video. I read the entire chat along with the Stigma Dane. And in my eyes, he did nothing wrong. It's just not something that is acceptable in Christian circles. In some Christian circles, rather. And previously, there was somebody who caught that Nephilim Free showed a screen capture video of his desktop, and in his favorites there was a link to a porn site. And again, nothing wrong with looking at porn unless you are a Christian, you know. But intrinsically, I don't see anything wrong with him having a link to a porn site. You know, it's just some people like to jump on Christians and call them hypocrites. Some Christians like to jump on other Christians and say that they're not being Christian. But in the end, he's really being jumped on for a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter. It's not like he is strangling kittens, you know? That would be wrong. Looking at porn, rubbing one out, hitting on a girl and getting shot down, no. What's horrible now, though, is I would hate it if I had hit on a girl and then publicly got shot down, you know? Like, everyone in the world, everyone in Nephilim's world can now see, you know, the evidence of him not being able to pick up on being shot down repeatedly, and his social awkwardness. And it is kind of funny to watch it, you know, to read down it. I'm like, wow, dude, you have no game at all. But there's really nothing wrong with what he did. I don't hold it against him. In talking with Mr. Samuel Spade, who is someone who's talked directly with Nephilim Free a lot, me and Mr. Spade, we realize that there's a lot of people jumping on Neph, and it feeds into this paranoia that he has, that if Neph ever comes into contact with someone who says that they're an atheist, immediately he feels like, okay, he can't do anything because, you know, if there's an atheist in the room, if there's an atheist in the conversation, that they are only there to collect information to embarrass him with. you know? And I've said it before in previous videos, there are a number of YouTubers who have been so jumped on and so pwned without anyone offering them a hand to say, hey, if you want to leave behind these horrible thoughts you had before, we'll accept you into our community. You know, these guys are never going to change. They're only going to get more fucktarded, you know. Venom Fang X is only going to get more fucktarded, and he's probably one day going to have his own televangelism program where he is driving around in Bentleys because he was so persecuted by atheists on YouTube. That's his only career path now. I mean, wherever Venom Fang X would go in the world, someone is going to recognize him as being the PCS, you know? And without that opportunity to give all that stuff up and actually be accepted by the rest of the community, they're just going to get dumber. They're just going to get more paranoid, and what are you going to do? Another thought that I had on my mind, I was looking at a friend of mine's channel, and he had somebody boxed, and I went to this other guy's channel. His name is Cartesian Theist. Now, Cartesian Theist, his channel slogan is, I think, therefore I cannot be an atheist. Right off the bat, I've got a problem with him, because it wouldn't be right for me to say that because someone is a Christian, they have no critical thinking skills. I would say that they haven't applied those critical thinking skills to that one part of their life, but it's completely wrong to say that they cannot think. It's also wrong to say that they haven't applied those skills and come to a different conclusion. That's also possible. So to say that the reason why you are not an atheist is because you think is just, well, it's insulting. And that's all it is. There is no usable bit of information in that statement, you know, that could be applied to anything except for insulting the people that you're saying are not thinking. Going down the rest of his channel, in his profile, right here it says, a survey of professional philosophers of religion show that nearly 70% of PhDs in the field are theists. And yeah, 100% of Catholic priests are theists. And they do a lot of religious study. To say that only 70% of, you know, or nearly 70% of the philosophers of religion are the people that believe in religion. You know, I can't imagine being someone who is not an artist and then becoming a tattoo artist, you know. To be a professional tattooist, you'd have to be an artist, and just the rest of the statement goes on to say that these are the philosophers most qualified in the arguments for and against the existence of God. These people who believe in God are more qualified because they are the philosophers of religion. Now, part of my feelings here stem from the Protestant Reformation, where basically the general feeling is that everyone is equipped to read the Bible and come to their own conclusions, and that everyone can get a personal revelation, right? Take that thought and apply it to philosophy. I'm going to say that somebody who has a PhD has a good chance of being more intelligent than somebody who doesn't, but that's not to say that somebody else can't study the same thing and find something wrong in what that PhD is saying. This is actually the this is the foil to another statement where the National Academy of Sciences, 90% of the members are atheists. So what you have here is all of the sciences filled with PhDs who are, 90% atheist if they join the National Academy of Sciences, and you have 70% of the philosophers of religion believing in theism. And what does that really mean? It is really an appeal to authority that is meaningless. And the only value that I find in this is that it is a foil to the statement about the National Academy of Sciences, because we shouldn't be using that as a proper argument for atheism, because it is an appeal to authority. So yeah, that kind of bugged me, and it goes back to that little moment where Jack said that I need to buy a few philosophy books. We need to get me some philosophy books. Is it going to result in me thinking the same way that Jack does if I were to read these books? Give me a list. Comment below. Give me your favorite philosophers that you think I have not read, and I'll probably read them, and we'll see if I come to the same conclusions. But yeah, to say that only someone who has studied a line of reasoning that has concluded that theism is correct can make a judgment on whether or not theism is correct is completely fucktarded. I guess the last thing I wanted to say, besides the fact that I'm waiting for True Blood to come out on the 26th, Season 4. This guy right here, Guy in Hat 1. Now, I cannot understand why this guy here has 87 subscribers. I've given him shoutouts before. Other people have as well. And I know that I get subscribers by making videos. I make one video, and then I get one subscriber. And that's about it. Now, Guy in Hat 1 is the kind of YouTuber that makes really good videos with great content in them. You can go down his videos and see that, you know, he's not like me where I will make one good content video, one thinker, and then 10 fun videos, you know. All of his videos are really good quality. And there are other people who do the same and have just as many subscribers as me with, you know, less videos than I put out. And I just cannot understand why this guy is not as subscribed as I am. Because we've been around for about the same amount of time. And other people that have, you know, less video output than me, but more quality to their content, like, say, Cranium on Empty. They've shot up in subscribers, too. But this guy, it's like, what is wrong? I can't put my finger on it. Well, that's the end of my rant. I think I've gotten it all out, and I can go back to being productive with some videos and finishing projects. Next video will be the last video for this.